Okay, guys, what we're doing today is graphing equations. Graphing is not the most exciting thing in the world. Now, we graphed earlier in the year, but the graph was just this, okay? Now you had one quadrant, only the positives. Now we have four quadrants, okay? That's called quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, and one thing that might help, you don't have to do this if you don't want. In quadrant 1, it's always positive, positive. Okay, so if they're both positive, they'll be in quadrant 1. Quadrant 2 is if I have a negative for x, a positive for y. Quadrant 3 is when they're both negative. And quadrant 4 is when you have a positive for x and a negative for y. That might help, I don't know. So just graph these points, negative 2, 6. So it's in here because that's negative, positive. So what I do is I go backwards 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you don't have to do this, if it doesn't help, that's fine. Negative 1, 3. Backwards 1, up 1, 2, 3. Now 0, 0 is the middle of the graph. It's not really in a quadrant. 1, negative 3, so you got positive, negative, so where's right there? So I go forward 1, down 1, 2, 3. 2, negative 6, okay? That's a positive, negative, it's going to be in the same quadrant, so 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now what you will be doing is, if it's just a bunch of points, okay, leave the points, okay? If it's an actual equation, we're going to make a ruler and connect them. Okay, now the next one, again, quadrant 1 right here, and you're not going to see me number the graph here today, okay? You got to count the units, okay? Because you can't number the graph forever, it's going to take too long. Okay, so right here, positive, positive, and that's x, y, okay, when I'm doing that. In this quadrant, if x is negative, y is positive. Down in this quadrant is if they're both negative. And in this quadrant is when you have positive and negative. Okay. So 2, negative 1. Okay. So it's positive, negative. Okay. That's going to be here. Okay. So I go forward 2 squares and then down 1. 1, negative 3, again, positive, negative, going to be in here. You go forward 1, down 1, 2, 3. Okay, 0, negative 5. Now, with a 0, it's going to be on one of the lines, okay? So if x is 0, you don't move forward or backwards. Y, you move down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, negative 1, negative 7, okay, so they're both negative, it's going to be in this quadrant, so left 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, and then negative 2, negative 9, okay, it's going to be in the negative, negative quadrant, so left 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay. Now those do format, you're going to notice the points go on a line. That's okay. Now, here's what you're really trying to do. Graph the equation. What you're trying to do is plot a bunch of points that make this equation work, okay? What we're going to do is make a table of values, and with your table of values, here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. We're going to do that for all of them today. Now, I could go much more extreme for x. I can go negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the idea is not to torture you. Okay, heck, you could go 100 through negative 100. But negative 2 through 2 is fine. Okay, when it doesn't give me numbers to put in, we'll just use those to start with. Now, what we're trying to figure out is, if I put negative, and I put a multiplication sign there, if you put negative 2 where the x is at, what's going to happen with the y? So I have this negative 2 where my pencil's at, times then remove the x and put that number there into it, plus 6. That's going to be 4. 4 plus 6 is 10, okay? Now, you're going to look at the same equation, but now you're going to put negative 1 in for x. So negative 2 times negative 1 is 2. 2 plus 6 is 8. Now we're putting 0 where the x is. So negative 2 times 0 plus 6. 0, 0 plus 6 is 6. Now you're noticing a pattern develop. The next one's probably going to be 4 and the next one's 2, because equations a lot of times, especially if x doesn't have a power on it, like to the second power, they do form patterns. That's what makes this a line. Okay, now circle negative 2 and 10. Okay, remember this is positive, positive. This is negative, positive. Okay. Down here in this quadrant here we have negative, negative, and then positive, negative. So it's negative, positive, it's going to be right here. So I go 2 units left, backwards, then 10 units up. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just go up, estimate about where 10 would be if the graph kept going. Negative 1, 8. That's another negative. It's going to be in the same quadrant. So x means go backward 1, 1 square, and then up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 0, 6. So I don't go forward or backward. Okay, I go right here. I just go up, straight up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 4. Okay, so remember, this is the x, this is the y, okay? So the x means I go forward, positive, positive, so they'll be in here. So I go forward 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 2, 2, okay? So I'm going to go forward 2, up 2. Now, this is an equation. You could have put decimals into the equation. I'm not going to. But to represent the decimals, we need to connect the points, because that would be in between the whole numbers I got. Okay? It is continuous. Not only that, you put arrows on your graph because you could keep going in either direction. Okay, next problem. Y equals 1/2 x plus 3. So I make an XY table. Now, you're going to put, you can put any numbers you want in for x, but to keep it organized, I would go negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. So that means 1/2 times x plus 3. So I have 1/2 times negative 2 plus 3. So I'm going to take 1/2 times negative 2, that's negative 1. It's half of 2 with a negative sign. And then plus 3 is 2, okay? So it's going to be negative 1 plus 3 equals 2. Now I put negative 1, so 1/2 times negative 1 plus 3. If you need a calculator, go for it, but when you take even a fraction times 1, it's just the fraction, but it will be a negative, okay? Keep that on your calculator so you don't have to punch it in, and then plus 3. I got 2.5. Okay. Now I take 1/2 times 0 plus 3. So that's 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. Now you see the pattern. You go from 2 to 2.5 to 3. Then you're probably going to get to 3.5 and then 4. Okay. Remember, this is x, this is y. You can do this quadrant stuff if it helps. If not, you can just ignore it. Okay. Negative, positive, negative, negative, and positive, negative, okay? So negative 2, 2, that's a negative with a positive, so that's got to be over here, okay? So I go left 2, up 2. That's done. Negative 1, 2.5, negative, positive, same thing. I go left 1, up 1, 2, and then halfway. 0, 3. You don't go forward or backward at all. You're on the y-axis. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 3.5. Okay. So that's positive, positive now. So we're in this quadrant. So I go to right 1, up 1, 2, 3, and then halfway. Okay, 2, 4. That's positive, both of them. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you have it. Okay. Again, you need to connect your lines because you can have, I could be putting decimals in for x too. So to include the decimals, we just connect the points. It's continuous. Okay. Okay, next problem, y equals negative 1/2 x minus 2. So negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so put a times dot. We're going to be taking negative 1/2 times negative 2 for that x, and then minus 2. 2's are kind of crazy here. So first we multiply. Negative 1/2 times negative 2 is 1. And then we take 1 minus 2, which would be negative 1. Okay, next one, negative 1/2 times negative 1 minus 2. We're going to take negative 1 ABC2 times negative 1, and then we're going to hit equals, and then why don't we just subtract 2? That's negative 1 1/2. Okay, negative 1/2 times 0 minus 2. But anything times 0 is 0, even if it's a fraction. So you just end up with negative 2. Now you see the pattern developing. Then you would go negative 2.5 and then negative 3. Okay, so positive, positive, negative, positive. Okay, negative, negative, and positive, negative, if that helps. Negative 2, negative 1, they're both negative. They got to be in here. So I go backward 2, down 1. Negative 1, negative 1.5. Again, you're still here. So you go left 1, and then down 1, and then halfway. 0, negative 2. You're on the y-axis. Okay, so down 2. 1, negative 2.5. That's positive, negative. So that's down here. So 1, down 1, 2, 2.5. 2, negative 3, okay, positive, negative, so you're in this quadrant, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so take your ruler and connect them, and that forms a whole line, because I could keep going, I could keep picking points forever. That's why we put arrows, and I could also put in decimals, so that's why we include them in the line. Okay, next one, xy, having fun yet? Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. So y equals 2 times x minus 3. Okay, so I put negative 2 where the x is at. Okay, it's going to give you negative 4 minus 3 would be negative 7. Okay, don't overthink it. If you need a calculator, do it. It's all good. It's negative 2. If I go 3 backward from negative 2, it's negative 5. 2 times 0 minus 3. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. I think you get the idea, okay? Now, you're like, okay, negative 1, but then what? Well, then I would have to go into the positives, okay? It would go to positive 1, because you're moving 2 units to the forward on the, if you're thinking number line, you're going 2 units forward. Positive, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, positive, negative. Okay, so negative 2, negative 7, it's got to be in this quadrant. You go backward 2, down 7. Negative 1, negative 5. Again, you're still in the same quadrant. Backward 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 0, -3, that's on the y. You don't move forward or backwards. You just go down 1, 2, 3. 1, -1. So you go, now you're positive negatives. So that positive negative's in here. So forward 1, down 1. Then 2, 1, those are both positives. They go in here. So forward 2, up 1. Okay. And those points should all line up. And when you're working on your own and you get points that don't line up, just come talk to me. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to keep on rolling here. Y equals 3x minus 2. I kind of like to make a wall here with the x. You're not getting the x by itself though, okay, because you don't have a number here. So -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Remember, I'm just picking those because those are kind of the ones that give me the middle of the graph. Okay, 3 times x, -2, and then after the x, minus 2. It's going to be -6 minus 2, which is -8. 3 times -1 minus 2. 3 times -1 is -3, minus 2 is -5. 3 times 0 minus 2. That's 0, which leaves us just with -2. 3 times 1 minus 2. That's 3. 3 minus 2 is 1. Now you go into the positives, which makes sense because you're going by 3's, which would push you into the positives. 3 times 2 minus 2. 6 minus 2 is 4. Okay, positive, positive, negative, positive, okay, negative, negative, okay, and then positive, negative. So -2, -8. Those are both in here. So left 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, -1, -5. Okay, both, that's going to be in here still. Left 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should say backward 1. People understand it better when I say backward. Okay. 0, -2. Don't move forward, don't move backwards. Just go down 2. 1, 1. Those are both positives. You're going to be up in this quadrant. Forward 1, up 1. 2, 4, both positive, further into this quadrant. Forward 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, next one. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. So you got negative, that means -5 times x. -5 times -2 plus 2. -5 times x, we put -1 in, plus 2. Remember, a variable just represents a number. These are the numbers we put in. -5 times 0 plus 2. -5 times 1 plus 2. My graph's really not aligned very well. -5 times 2 plus 2. Okay, it's going to give me 10. 10 plus 2 is 12, because a negative times a negative is a positive. -5 times -1 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. That's 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. It's -5. -5 plus 2 is -3. Makes sense because you're dropping by 5. So from 2 and you drop 5, you're dropping into the negatives. -10 plus 2 is -8. Okay, so positive, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, positive, negative. Okay, so I go left 2 up. So again, negative positives right in here. Okay, so you go left 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just don't graph that point. Okay, -1, 7. That's a negative positive. So backward 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because I want you counting by 1s every time, not going by 2s. It's not the point of this. 0, 2. Okay, that's on the y-axis. Just straight up 2. That's called your y-intercept. Because that's where we cross the y-axis. That becomes important later on. Positive, negative. Okay, where's positive, negative at? Right there. So it's going to be forward 1, down 1, 2, 3. 2, negative 8, forward 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can see definitely the points running in a pattern. Okay, you're like, what's the point of a graph? I'm not a big graphing guy, but a graph represents the behavior of an equation or a function. Okay, that's the best words I can give it. So it's a representation. Okay, moving right along. Okay, so y equals negative 1/2 times x plus 7. You're going to have negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. So negative 1/2 times negative 2 plus 7. Now this is 1 when you multiply it. Half of 2 is 1, negative is positive. 1 plus 7 is 8. Negative 1/2 times negative 1 plus 7. If you want to calculate it, it's going to be 1/2 plus 7. Okay, because you're taking even though you're taking times 1, it's still going to be 1/2 positive, and then just add a 7 onto it. 7.5. Okay. Negative 1/2 times 0 plus 7. 0, 0 plus 7, 7. You can see the pattern. Then you go to 6.5 and then 6. Okay, so again, positive, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, and positive, negative. So negative 2, 6. Okay, I go backwards 2 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Negative 1, 7.5. Okay, I go left and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and halfway. The points will be close together when you're going by halves. 0, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 6.5. Forward 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5. 2, 6. Forward 2 up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Take your straight edge. The battery's about to die here on the camera. Okay, last problem. Not as hard a one this time. Okay. You don't have to times, you just put negative 2 in for x and minus 3. That's going to be negative 5. You put negative 1 in for x and minus 3. No times necessary. Negative 4. 0 in for x, minus 3. Negative 3. Then you can get negative 2, negative 1. And you got it. Positive, positive. Negative, positive. Negative, negative. Positive, negative. Negative, negative is going to be down here. Backwards 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, the x is the horizontal. Okay, this is horizontal, this is vertical. Negative 1, still in here. Backwards 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, negative 3, that's not in a quadrant, it's a y-intercept. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, negative 2. So that's positive, negative now. So you're going to be in here. Forward 1, down 1, 2. 2, negative 1. Okay, positive, negatives in here. Okay, forward 2, down 1. Okay, and you take your ruler, connect them, and remember to connect in between and get the arrows. Okay, if you have a question, let me know.